Hello music lovers, and welcome to the biggest and baddest of the Ottawa festival calendar. That's right, it's the 20th edition of the RBC Ottawa Bluesfest here at LeBreton Flats, and as you can probably hear behind me, a lot of the construction is still going on here on Tuesday, July the 2nd. Looking for a kickoff on the 4th of July with some fireworks here that we just saw on Canada Day. Not a whole lot of downtime between festivals. Obviously Jazz Fest just finished up on Canada Day, and now we get into Bluesfest for the 4th of July. So hope you're enjoying a little bit of your downtime in between festivals and getting ready to rock for this year's Bluesfest. Of course, opening up the party this year, no better way to open up on the 4th of July than the American band themselves. That would be Grand Funk Railroad. They're going to be on the Claridge stage starting at 8 p.m. on Thursday, July 4th. And they'll be warming up the festival crowd for the return of the Black Keys, which will surely be one of the most popular and well-attended acts at this year's festival. So that's what you're looking for on Thursday, July 4th, opening night. I'm just going to take you through a few of the highlights. Some of you may have seen this spread in the Tuesday edition of our paper. It's a 16-page feature on Bluesfest, and it goes through some of the top acts that you're going to see, and I'll take you through a few of those. And we've already done the Thursday, so I'm going to start now on Friday, July 5th. The headlining act that night is the Zac Brown Band. A lot of people may already be familiar with them, but for those who are not, they're sort of a band that crosses that line, blurs the line maybe between rock and country. A little too country for rock, a little too rock for country, and they're somewhere in between, and they've often been associated with sort of the jam band circuit of the Dave Matthews Band ilk. So another great band there on the Friday night. You'll also see Frank Turner is opening up on the Bell stage. And for those of you who don't want to see Zac Brown, you can head over to the beautiful river stage right on the banks of the Ottawa River to see She and Him. She being Zooey Deschanel of TV's The New Girl, along with him, that would be M. Ward, who's a great indie songsmith, and he acts as producer and guitarist, multi-instrumentalist in this outfit. That duo is one that is pretty much achieved the impossible in putting out a Christmas record that is actually listenable. They did that about a year and a half ago, and with a very She and Him Christmas, and now they've put together their third proper studio album called Volume 3. That moves us into Saturday, July 6th, and you're going to see there on the Bell stage the return of the Dixie Chicks, which again will be a very popular night, and that is all three of the Dixie Chicks with Natalie Maines back in the fold, so it should be a great night of music. Opening that night is Nico Case, one of my favorite current artists, sort of described as country noir, and a very beautiful singing voice, and just some great songwriting there. All sorts of stuff on the Saturday, but we got to move along right into Sunday, July 7th. For those of you who are not going to see Paul McCartney that night at the Canadian Tire Centre, if you weren't lucky enough to get tickets to that sold-out show, then come on down to Bluesfest. You're going to see Fun. They won the Grammy for Best New Artist and for Song of the Year as well for We Are Young. Everyone knows that song. So we're going to see what they can do with the live performance here on the Sunday. They'll be headlining. As well, fans of the Wu-Tang Clan probably won't mind too much that Paul McCartney is going to be stealing the thunder. They probably won't even notice. The Wu-Tang Clan back together after a long hiatus with a long-rumored follow-up record, reunion record coming out soon, we have been told anyway. Still nothing confirmed there, but still, should be a great show. That brings us over to Monday, July 8th, where Canadian power trio Rush will be on the main stage. They were here a few years ago, and they put on a nearly 3-hour performance that was absolutely epic if you're a Rush fan, or a giant headache if you're not. I'm somewhere in between if you can be, so I enjoyed that show, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it when they're back here as well. If Rush isn't your thing, you can check out Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, great up-and-coming band. They're going to be on the Claridge stage at 6 p.m, followed by the Specials, one of the great ska bands of the sort of late 70s, 80s ska revival, the two-tone label sound. Everyone who knows what that means knows what it means, and anyone who doesn't probably doesn't need to. But go on and check out the Specials, a great band. As well that night on the river stage, Mother Mother, great indie band from the West Coast, the Canadian West Coast from Vancouver. Really well worth checking out. I saw them here a few years ago as well, and excellent live show. That brings us up to Tuesday, and that's a merciful night off of the festival. They're going to take a break this year, 5 days to start, a break, and then another 5 days to take us into the home stretch. So that brings us up to Wednesday, July 10th, and that is Indie Night here at the festival. You've got Weezer on the main stage, making again their return for the first time in a few years, and they put on a great show closing out the festival about 3 years ago. They were the final act to go on stage, and here they're kicking off the second half of the festival now. You've also got Animal Collective on the main stage at 7 o'clock, and some really great indie bands. You've got Atlas Genus from Australia are on at 6 p.m. Mariana's Trench, another band from BC, on at 8 o'clock, and then you've got Passion Pit on the river stage at 9:30 for anyone who has to kind of choose, flip a coin between them and Weezer. That's going to bring us into Thursday, July 11th. I hope you're keeping up here, because that night you're going to see the Tragically Hip. Festival mainstays, always a great time, but opening for them this year is the John Spencer Blues Explosion, a fantastic trio out of New York City with John Spencer as the frontman, kind of does this weird sort of Elvis-style rockabilly vocals with guitarist Judah Bauer and drummer Russell Simmons. A great band, always put on an absolutely electric and electrifying live performance, not to be missed. That brings us into the final weekend now of the festival already. So here, Friday, July 12th, the party is going to be in full swing down at LeBreton Flats when Great Big Sea come to town. So you've got the Hip one night, you've got Great Big Sea the next. Two iconic Canadian party bands that always bring out the crowds, so should be good. As well, sort of nice to go along with Great Big Sea is the Waterboys. That's Mike Scott's project that's been going on since the late 70s. He is a poet, a singer. He's doing now the setting the poetry of W.B. Yeats to music. Really wonderful, very intelligent, well-spoken man, and some beautiful lyrical quality to the music as well. And a very exclusive performance here. He's not one that tours regularly, so again, not to be missed. Matthew Good as well is on that night for fans of Matthew Good. Very outspoken political rock and roll music and Canadian to boot, so can't go wrong there. That brings us into Saturday with one of the most exclusive engagements you're going to see at Bluesfest this year or any other, and that of course is Bjork. She rarely tours, has never played in Ottawa before. Mark Monahan, the executive and artistic director, went to great lengths to get her here, and like I said in the write-up here that you can read, this is less a performance than performance art. This is really something to be seen, multi-sensory overload here, and should be a really fantastic performance. Even if her music isn't quite your cup of tea, it will certainly be a very it would be a feast for the senses here on Saturday night. So that's at 9:15. Another great band called Half Moon Run at 3 o'clock. They're Montreal-based, but the singer-songwriter is from Ottawa, was born and raised in Ottawa, and they now make their home in Montreal. As well, another sort of Montreal-Toronto collective, Stars, great indie band that has been at the festival many years before, and they're back now at 8 o'clock on the Claridge stage. Let's see, so that brings us now into the final day of the festival, the last day to party here at LeBreton Flats. And what better way, what better name to bring in to close out a blues festival than the King of the Blues, B.B. King. So he plays here. This is the first time he's ever played at Bluesfest, although he has been to Ottawa many times before, usually playing at the National Arts Centre, just right over there. But here he'll be on the outdoor stages with tens of thousands of people, and it will be a fantastic show. Anyone who has seen him in recent years knows he can still play a mean guitar. You can get all sorts of sounds out of Lucille that he carries with him, faithfully, obviously. If blues isn't quite your thing, there is a huge mixed bag here on the Sunday. You've got Alice in Chains, obviously an iconic grunge band that are making a comeback as well. They're on the main bell stage at 5 p.m. You've also got Yukon Blonde, a little bit of a more on the mellow side of the indie rock, at 7 p.m. You've got Serena Ryder, another Canadian, making a name for herself with sort of a nice, very listenable pop rock, danceable sound. Some great stuff there. You've got Monkey Junk, a local blues trio that is just winning every possible blues award you can imagine. You've got Alejandro Escovedo, you've got Los Lonely Boys, and you've got Los Lobos. All three of those in a row on the river stage to close things out. So really that final day sort of speaks to what the whole festival is about. There's something for everybody here. There's something to satisfy every taste on the musical palette, and should make for a wonderful 10 days in July. Hope to see you down here at LeBreton Flats starting on the 4th of July, and we'll take you right through to the 14th with coverage every day in the Ottawa Sun newspaper and online at ottawasun.com. So for Sun Media and ottawasun.com, at the site of the 2013 Ottawa Blues Festival, I'm Aidan Hellman.